Opposition senators give President Muhammadu Buhari 6-week ultimatum to tackle insecurity, threaten impeachment. Nasarawa state government orders closure of schools over fear of attack. Lassa fever deaths hits 162 in 28 weeks. On business, House of Representatives says 23 oil firms unknown. On international scene, Russian Minister Lavrov meets government leaders in Addis Ababa. And on sports, Nigerian Football Federation to hold annual General Assembly August 13. Hello and welcome to SVTV Newsroom. I am Umukuthu Mohammed, now the news in full. Senators from opposition parties have issued a 6-week ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to tackle the security challenges bedeviling the country. They also threatened to commence impeachment proceedings against the president if he fails to address the insecurity within the period given by the lawmakers. Our correspondent Fawzia Ibrahim has more on the report.
The minority leader of the Senate, Senator Philip Aduda, made the opposition of the lawmakers known on Wednesday while briefing newsmen at the National Assembly in Abuja, the nation's capital. Before the briefing, the opposition lawmakers staged a walkout following a call to impeach President Muhammadu Buhari during Wednesday plenary.
To discuss issues as they relate to security in this country, especially the happenings in Abuja, and happenings all over the country, and we agreed that the primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and property of citizens. Obviously. And for us, the minority caucus in the Senate, we also took into cognizance the fact that the Senate had at various levels, at various times, convened various security meetings, various security issues were discussed, and we did recommend to government. And so at the closed session, we agreed that we will give the president an ultimatum that failing which, if it is not complied with, will move immediately to give an impeachment notice.
Senator Aduda had raised a point of order asking the Senate President Ahmed Lawal to discuss the security situation in the country and the impeachment of President Muhammadu Buhari.
So we expected that the Senate President will brief the public on the issues that have happened, but however, that did not happen. So we have come here in protest to brief you and to let you know that we're with Nigerians in this struggle and that we're worried that nowhere is safe in Nigeria.
But Senator Lawan, who presided over the plenary, declined the request of the minority leader, saying the point of order rights fall flat on its face. Fawzia Ibrahim reporting for SVTV News.
Meanwhile, the presidency has frowned at the threats by some opposition members of the Senate to begin impeachment proceedings against President Muhammadu Buhari over nation's security challenges. Malam Garba Shehu, the president's spokesman, in a statement on Wednesday described the impeachment attempt as ridiculous. The presidential aide, however, expressed the readiness of the All Progressive Congress-led administration to partner with all well-meaning citizens, including members of the opposition, to address the security challenges across the country. The Senate has resolved to summon Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, over skyrocketing inflation and devaluation which continue to plunge Nigerians into hardship. Stakeholders in key sectors of the economy have expressed worry over the free fall of the Naira against the United States dollar. The Naira is currently being exchanged at 670 Naira per dollar at the parallel market. There has also been a spike in dollar demand. The upper chamber has also mandated the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and other financial institutions to assess the impact of CBN intervention funds meant to support critical sectors of the economy. The resolution of the Senate followed a motion moved by Senator Olubunmi Adetumbi, representing Ekiti North, of the plenary. He noted the CBN, through its numerous multi-sectoral intervention funds, provided special funds to support critical sectors of the economy. He explained that in view of such interventions, it had become necessary to assess the stage of implementations and effectiveness of funds deployed for the purpose. The Federal Executive Council on Wednesday approved the leasing of 3 aircraft for commencement of operations for the country's carrier Nigeria Air. Aviation Minister Hadi Sirika disclosed this to newsmen at the close of the FEC meeting chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari at the council chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. For more on the report, Rafia Mainasara.
Mr. Sirika noted that the airline will begin with 3 aircraft made by Airbus and Boeing, running solely domestic routes, adding that the airline will expand into regional and intercontinental routes.
Every airline that will grow big is either or. Most of them are either Airbus or they are Boeing, especially for the intercontinental and international flights.
The minister, however, declined to state that the actual date operation will kick off, saying they will announce the commencement soon. The minister also noted that Nigerians who are willing to own part of the 51% share available for indigenous investors are welcome to participate. He said Nigeria Air was open to investment from any of the country's airlines, particularly the 51% shares set aside for Nigerians. Rafi Aminasara reporting for SBTV News.
2 days after the federal government ordered closure of Federal Government Girls College, Kwali, Abuja, the Nasarawa state government has ordered the closure of all primary and secondary schools in the state over fear of attacks by terrorists. The order for the closure was given by the state governor, Abdullahi Sule, through a statement issued by the Nasarawa State Commissioner for Education, Fatu Sabo. An exemption was, however, made for students currently writing the National Examinations Council Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, but security will be beefed up for their protection and safety. The statement noted that the order became necessary following threats and security breaches in some parts of the country. Accordingly to the statement, all principals and head teachers of secondary and primary schools are directed to release their students and pupils to their parents and guardians. The latest situation report by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control shows that Lassa fever deaths have hit 162 in 28 weeks. The report further showed that 847 confirmed cases of the disease have been recorded from 24 states, while 5,752 suspected cases have been reported from all states of the Federation. According to the NCDC's epidemiological report, in week 28 July 11 to 17, the number of new confirmed cases decreased from 13 in week 27, 2022 to 5 cases which were reported from Edo and Ondo states. The Independent National Electoral Commission has ruled out the chances of further extension of the ongoing continuous voter registration. Chief Ken Okeago, the INEC National Commissioner in charge of Ebonyi, Enugu and Imo states, said this at a news briefing in Abakaliki on Wednesday. For more, Sumeya Dosara reports.
Chief Okeago, who was on a one-day monitoring visit to Ebonyi, said his assignment was to appraise the exercise in the state. He said he has visited the Commissioner's local government area offices to assess the progress so far made in the exercise. He expressed satisfaction with the turnout of prospective registrants. Chief Okeago commended INEC in Ebonyi for the arrangement put in place to ensure smooth exercise in the state. He said the Commission would consider the deployment of additional voter enrollment machines to address the surge at the registration centers. He, however, dismissed the possibility of further extension of the exercise, which is billed to end on July 31st.
At the end, the last week of the continued voter registration exercise, which we started almost 1 year ago, barring everything, by the grace of God, on Sunday, 31st of this month, the continued voter registration exercise will be suspended in the FCT. All CBR activities except the collection of already printed PPCs will be suspended on Sunday, 31st of July 2022.
Chief Okeago added that the exercise will end on July 31st and that they will continue after the 2023 general elections. Sumaya Dosa reporting for SBTV News.
And on business, over to Fauzia Ibrahim.
Audio Jungle.
Thank you, Kulsum. I'm Fauzi Ibrahim, and welcome to Business Update. The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee to investigate the petroleum product subsidy regime from 2013 to 2021 said it does not know the profile of 22 oil and gas companies trading in Nigeria. The panel is investigating payments made by the federal government through the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation for the subsidy on premium motor spirits, also known as petrol, within 8 years. Chairman of the committee, Ibrahim Aliyu, at the resumption of the investigative hearing of subsidy payment on Wednesday, stated that the firm had major serious questions to answer. Alhaji Aliyu read part of a communication from Corporate Affairs Commission in response to the committee request for the profile of the companies, said there were no details on the firms. The lawmaker stated that the committee will be forced to write to the embassies of the countries where the companies are based for information on them. Shareholders of Frisco PLC have approved a total dividend of 7.5 billion naira for a financial year ended December 31, 2021. The dividend translated to 7.50 per share, an increase of 380% when compared to the amount paid in 2020. The company had declared a final dividend of 6.6 billion naira, having paid an interim dividend of 1 billion naira to the shareholders. The shareholders at the company's 29th annual general meeting on Wednesday by proxy commended the company's enhanced growth in spite of the various challenges. Speaking on behalf of the shareholders, Bishop Goodluck Aboro, chairman of Onitsha Zone Shareholders Association, commended the board and management of the company for the outstanding results, which he described as impressive performance. The managing director of the company, Mr. Felix Nwabuko, advised investors to take advantage of the huge opportunity in the sector. Mr. Nwabuko commended shareholders and the staff of the company for contributing to the growth recorded in 2021. And that's all on the business update. I'm Fauzi Ibrahim. Thanks for watching and do have a nice day.
Thank you, Fauzi Ibrahim. And now an international scene. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Wednesday during a press conference in Addis Ababa criticized the reliance of the global economy on the US dollar. Speaking during a visit to Ethiopia, Sergei Lavrov said the reliance on the American currency in supporting the world economy was not so very promising and claimed that countries were shifting to using alternative currencies more and more. Mr. Lavrov also said the globe was living through an important historical period and people would have to choose what type of world they wanted to live in.
A period where we will all be deciding what kind of universe we are going to have and to live for our children and grandchildren.
He said a universe which is based on the United Nations Charter, which says the United Nations is founded on the principle of sovereign equality of states, or they will have the world where the right of force and the right of the strongest dominates.
The universe which is based on the United Nations Charter, which says that the United Nations is founded on the principle of sovereign equality of states, or we will have the world where the right of force, the right of the strongest dominates.
During his visit to the Ethiopian capital, Lavrov held meetings with the country's president, Sahle-Work Zewde, and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen. Mr. Lavrov is seeking to convince African leaders, and to a much lesser extent, ordinary people, that Moscow cannot be blamed either for the conflict or for the food crisis. Russia has blamed the blockade on Ukrainian mines. And now in sports. The annual General Assembly was previously put on hold due to legal issues. According to newsmen, the Federation is doing everything within its reach in making sure that the Congress is held as proposed. It could be recalled that the federal government, in a letter through the Ministry of Sports, had asked that the election is held as and when due as 4-year tenure of second term of Amaju Pinnick-led board ends in September. Still on sports, Paul Pogba could be ruled out of this year's World Cup in Qatar with a knee injury he suffered in training. Pogba, who officially rejoined Juventus earlier this month, will visit a specialist consultant to determine what treatment is needed. The former Manchester United star has been diagnosed with a tear of the lateral meniscus in his right knee after limping off the training field in Los Angeles last week. The 29-year-old was expected to have surgery while the United States instead of traveling with the Serie A giants as they continue their pre-season tour. The 2018 World Cup winner, who only returned to Juventus just 2 weeks ago, has instead flown back to Italy to see a specialist. According to newsmen, there are two potential approaches for his injury, and one could see him miss the World Cup as it may keep the midfielder on the sidelines until 2023. One option will be to remove a piece of the meniscus, which would rule Pogba out for 40 to 60 days roughly. But that operation is suited to younger players and could affect his mobility. And that's all we have in news updates for today. But before we go, a recap of the major headlines. Opposition senators give President Muhammadu Buhari 6-week ultimatum to tackle insecurity, threaten impeachment. Nasarawa state government orders closure of schools over fear of attack. Lassa fever deaths hits 162 in 28 weeks. On business, House of Representatives says 23 oil firms unknown. On international scene, Russian Minister Lavrov meets government leaders in Addis Ababa. And on sports, Nigerian Football Federation to hold annual General Assembly August 13. On behalf of the editorial crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, once again I am Kuthum Mohammed saying thanks for watching. Do have a nice day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television.